Welcome to another episode of Fourth and Fantasy. We have a guest with us today, Addie, and we got a week two recap. We also will be talking about week three previews. Like I said, stay tuned. This is Fourth and Fantasy. Let's go.
Hey, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't follow no script. I make my own lane. Got a spreadsheet mind and a red rat's brain. Dynasty beats got that tape in my veins. While they drafting by names, I'm exposing their game. No cap. We study the craft like film room rats. Gyms in the fourth while they stuck in the past. It's levels to the dynasty. Keep or flex. From rookies to pros, we demand and respect. That's real. And I ain't never need clout for my clout to show. Just a mic I take and a team I grow. This ain't just picks, it's principle G. It's fourth and fantasy where you build your legacy. We 10 toes down, yeah, we stand.
I swear that track gets me going. It's another wonderful night on Tuesday. Week two is now basically over. We're going into week three. Like I said in the intro, we have a guest today. Before we get to his introduction, you already know what it is. Fourth and Finish, your playbook to more championship wins. And I'm Hancho. This is my guy.
Siriaco, call me Rocco.
And where are we the home of, Rocco?
We are a Dynasty podcast for Dynasty sickos by Dynasty sickos. But Addie's welcome today.
Addie's welcome today. What's up, G? How you feeling?
Dude, I'm doing great. I've been friends with you guys on TikTok for like a year, so I'm hyped to actually be on the pod here, heading it up. Like, I know you guys have had Chev on a couple times, but I like to think that I'm the better half of our operation of two guys, one pod. So
Okay. Talk
happy
your
to
shit.
be here. Yeah. I mean, well, we have a rankings contest on League Champ every week. I've consistently been better than Chev to this point. Yeah, I'm a numbers guy, so I'm gonna lean on that, but as a Bears fan, I got to lean on something because not much is working for us today. Hyped to be here with you guys, though. I'm at Duck League Champ, and you can find me on Two Guys One Pod on the FFD Radio Network.
Nice.
And as I said, we were going over week two. And this kind of was a crazy one. A couple of guys lost me my week. Very actually upset. It's from money leagues, free leagues. I don't really care that much about. I still want to win because I want to talk shit. But nevertheless, let's get into the nitty gritty of week two. And a couple of guys that, oh, and actually, before we do that, also don't forget this episode is brought to you by Fast Draft, the fastest best ball platform out there where you can play and get cash money put in your pocket. I actually did a draft over the weekend, and I was looking at my couple of my teams that I had already drafted. I'm looking like I'm gonna be $30 richer. So get your ass in the game, and by using our promo code fourth or fourth, they will double your first deposit up to $50. I repeat, either one of these codes right there to that little bottom left, they will double your first deposit up to $50. Ah man, week two, I'm looking it kind of upset me in a way when I'm looking back at it. It started off sort of nice with the Packers and the Commanders, and then my Cowboys, if y'all didn't know, and at this point y'all should know, they gave me a heart attack by the boo boo buttermilk buns. New York Giants took us all the way to fourth quarter. Absolutely despicable. And then I don't want to. We could get into the Saints. They actually played a pretty good game. Shout out Spencer Rattler. And then, like Addie said, Chicago Bears. I don't know what to do with that sentence right there. But when we're looking at these, let's look at quarterbacks first, man. When we're looking at these guys, who who for y'all teams came up in the clutch, right? Jerry Goff dropped the 30 burger, and if you have him
40.
in, boy, that's 6 point passing. And 4 point passing, he dropped the 34 burger. If you have 6 point passing, then he did drop a 40 burger. I went back and looked at a couple of leagues. I had Jared Goff on the bench, and I lost that week. Who guess who felt sick to their stomach? I I very much did. Guess who also had a slow week? Josh Allen. Yeah. No, Rob, I'll stop talking. I know we have a guest here. Addie, how did your week two go in general? And also, as we like to talk here on Fourth and Fantasy, I'm in 50 plus fantasy leagues. Rocco's in 30 plus or 12. I know. He's a shh. You gotta be. That's why we call ourselves the sickos.
Shut
Abby,
the
how
fuck
many
up.
leagues are you in currently?
So, how are we counting best ball? Because I got maybe like 10 grand in best ball, but aside from that, I mean,
What? 10?
I, I
10
took it a little
stacks.
seriously this year.
Ooh,
Yeah, I had a buddy do well last year. I think I'm better at fantasy than him. I had to commit. But I've been trying to do the buy-in. I'm in about 20 leagues this year. That's about where I've capped out at, where I can actually
Mhm.
manage the teams. And I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right this season. The only thing that's killing me, the home leagues with punishments are the ones I'm doing the worst in. And like, I'm a big fan of the like far too serious punishment leagues. Like this past week one, we had to have our last place punishment, which was get 50 signatures towards getting rid of the moon. We had pamphlets. The dude had a shirt and everything. It was real fun, but like, I'm a little bit worried. In terms of how my teams did, they did all right. It's just I've been a big Justin Herbert. I'm a big Justin Fields guy.
mm,
Those were kind of my two dudes,
that's what I like to hear.
and the Justin Fields teams were a little bit rough to watch. Yeah, I'm just shocked. Like, how are you guys feeling about the ascension of Indiana Jones here?
Mm. Fool's gold.
That's what I
See,
think,
Sell opportunity.
see, I
right?
knew Rocco. I knew Rocco was going to go that direction because
Sell.
one, Danny Dimes is not on his any play. He might Danny Dimes and on. Actually, I won't even say that because he actually Derek Carr has a special place in Rocco's heart and misery. So, so I won't put Daniel Jones in that category. But there's a tier. I think Daniel Jones is right above that. But I would say at the most, he's. I'm not going to go on a limb and say he's a QB1 for me. I think where it is where he's hitting is he's not making mistakes, right? He's playing the game. He's not going too far above where he needs to do, and he's not costing them games either. And I also want to point out they're leaning on Jonathan Taylor quite a bit. So it's not like they're saying Daniel Jones, go out there and throw 40 times. That's a recipe for disaster, right? If you
I think what's being exposed is the Colts actually have really really good weapons. I think Tyler Warren has kind of completed, their weapon room. They've been looking for years to get, that elite tight end, and he's come in and really patrolled the middle of the field and made a big target in the middle of the field. Michael Pittman looks like he's back from last year's back injury, and they still got Josh Downs, who I like a lot, and a couple speedsters and Alec Pierce and your guy, the Georgia guy.
you already know how I feel about my dogs, man. I wish I brought my sombrero up here, my Georgia Bulldog sombrero, who also, if y'all watch college football, gave me a heart attack too. I feel like my teams are trying to put me in the morgue. First is first it's Georgia Bulldogs going with Tennessee, and then it's the Dallas Cowboys doing having basically a hiccup against the New York Giants. So if y'all didn't know, I've had a very long weekend, but when it comes to the Indianapolis Colts, I am reaping the benefit of Jonathan Taylor. Right, Daniel Jones, I feel really good as my QB2. I actually have to start him in a few leagues just because I have nobody else. So if you have him, this might be the time to sell him because he's not going to have a better unless he keeps playing good all for the rest of the year. Then, but do we really believe through 17 weeks Daniel Jones is going to not mess it up? He's not going to drop the bag, if you will. I don't believe that.
Okay, riddle me this, because I'm in some trade talks. I have a couple productive struggle dynasty teams I'm trying to get going. I got Daniel Jones in a few of those because I picked him up late in the offseason, trying to make sure that I
Hmm.
could accrue some value there. What sort of a running back are you looking for to get Daniel Jones off your team? Because I'm getting offers like Pacheco, DeAndre Swift, sort of guys that you can get for that like late second sort of area. Is that something you guys are looking at, or are you trying to aim a little bit higher?
I'd aim a little bit higher. I mean, based on the
I do
numbers he's
too.
put up,
Yeah.
you can almost, for a team that's needy, a desperate type team, you can almost you could almost get first round value for him in Superflex. I'd want I want that next tier of running back um, for it to make sense because I can write a story where at the end of the season DeAndre Swift's maybe not an RB2 at all for me at the end of the year.
Hey,
So
I feel
yeah,
good. What about Javante? Would you shoot for Javante? How he's been balling these first couple weeks?
hey man, dance on that one. That was I think your best call so far in the offseason, man. I shit on him for a solid 6 months. So um, will it continue to happen? I mean, he looks back, so he may be in the tier, but I think I want something on top. Give me like a third round pick on top of that, and I think that's an easy smash for me. What about you, Addy?
See, I love what I've seen from Javante, especially because I was like a big Miles Sanders hype up guy in the offseason. I got that
Mhm.
full Miles Sanders experience week one, 53-yard rush, immediately follows it up with a fumble. That that's all the guy is. But like yeah, I'd be looking for a touch more too. Because I'm a little surprised by the offers I get because you can make a case for Daniel Jones in Dynasty. He's 28
Yeah,
years old. Like
Yeah.
he's in the prime of his career. And what is he going to get threatened by Anthony Richardson and whatever noodle he's throwing off of at this point?
And before I do want to, I know Rocco answered some of these in the comments, but damn, I don't know how Bronson Hayo. I think how they say it. That's how you say it.
Ayo,
Hayo.
Ew.
Trade
ayo.
Debo and Waddle for Nico Collins I don't know who does that because I'm hitting instant decline on that. But
For
if they,
Nico,
huh?
give me Nico.
Yes,
Easy.
Yeah,
but
Nico.
why would the other person do that deal?
I don't know. We don't have information here. If this is already in your inbox, that's an easy smash. Get Nico Collins, get the foundational guy.
Mm.
You're probably buying low, but he was just a few inches away from having like an awesome night last night. So yeah, give me Nico Collins all day. And you get the good throw in of Krosky, who's in line to be to get a good portion of that workload in Washington.
Actually, I have an opinion, or I have a question for you, Addy, about Krosky, because it seems like everybody was on his heel the first week. Then the second week happened, and everyone's like, "Oh, this guy's just a 7 rounder. We're overhyping him." How do you feel about him just for the rest of the season, and since Eckler's hurt?
See, I'm hugely positive about the guy because I thought even what we saw in week two wasn't bad. I know we only saw like 4 snaps, 4 touches in there. It was a game script that wasn't very friendly to the Commanders as a whole. But when it comes down to it, the Packers' defense is a really solid defense. And even on those 4 plays, you saw that wiggle. You saw him making plays. And if you believe in the Commanders' offense, which I'm inclined to believe in them, I think most people are, I think you kind of have to believe in Krosky because he earned his spot over Chris Rodriguez. And if you're telling me that I need to worry about Jeremy McNichols taking snaps. I had 5 years of people saying Jeremy McNichols is finally going to take Derrick Henry snaps.
No,
There's no reason to believe that. Like
no.
he should still be in there. He had good college film. He's been showing it in the pros. He's healthy, and Austin Eckler's out of the way. I wishing a fast recovery, obviously.
Well, like that. And I'm still on them. Shoot, for somebody who you basically got for the free 99 in most cases or in late rounds, I feel like people are very much over just over analyzing it. Just let it play out. There's no is he has a clear path to RB1 snaps, right? And shout out to Mike. Welcome, my G. I just wanted to say, y'all Eagles fans got lucky, and Chiefs should have came out on top. I don't want to hear none. I want to hear nada, nada.
Eagles were offsides.
Thank
Eagles
you.
were
I'm so
offsides. I
tired of
agree.
thank you, Addy. I'm so tired of the tush push. It's the most illegal play that they because the guards are already moving before the snap even goes. Who can stop that? Come on now. But I'm gonna go too much of a rant. Mike, thank you for hopping on. We're gonna get you on the show too. So I got some words for you, my boy.
Get
Trust me.
that camera fixed, bro.
We're gonna get you. Looking at looking at QB2 from week two, which I'm sure a lot of people didn't have this on their bingo card. Russell Wilson was diming us up. When I say making him look like prime Russell, but I will say, can we all agree to this? Russell Wilson still has one of the this I had to say pause after this. He has one of the prettiest deep balls in the in the NFL.
So pretty.
When he has like his moon ball is absolutely pretty. Okay, he dropped that thing on neighbors, which at that point I thought the game was over for us. I was sick to my stomach, and then we whipped out Brandon Aubrey, Mister Mega Leg himself, and got us through. How did you feel about Russell Wilson's performance in week two, Addy?
Dude, I'm hyped. I've been hyping up Russell all season. I didn't think Jackson Dart was a great college prospect. I've been really impressed in the preseason. Like, try and not lean on those priors. You got to believe what you see there. But Russ has looked fantastic in that second game, which is so weird because in that first game, he looked bad. Like, I watched that whole first game. I'm big on neighbors this year. I wanted to believe that Russ was the guy, and he wouldn't throw a single deep pass. And then he comes out against the Cowboys, who all these Philly fans are saying, oh, they're an elite secondary. That's what shut down A.J. Brown. That's what shut down Devontae Smith. That's the big thing. Hey, Philly fans on Twitter, I could do a whole rant. But, like, he comes out and he absolutely tears up the Dallas secondary. He makes
Yep.
Wandale Robinson look like a wide receiver too. And I'm really impressed. I think he could keep it up all season if he gets an opportunity to, which would be rough because they have one of the hardest 6 game stretches to start a year that any team could have.
Mm. See. And go ahead,
Yeah.
Rocco.
No, I think he's going to be the meat shield for these first 6 games.
Yes.
Yeah. He's gonna he's gonna be in there. But if they're 0-6, why would you keep in Russell Wilson? Everybody's got their job on the line in New York City, and you got a rookie first rounder there just waiting in the wings. So let Russ absorb this punishment in the first 6 games, and then get Dart in. But what Russ did give you on Sunday was a excellent sell opportunity. And as it sits today, Russell Wilson leads the league in passing yards.
Yeah, that's one when you
Daniel Dimes is number 2. Who had that on their bingo card to start the season?
I mean, shoot, when you throw for 400 yards against us, it's hard not to. So,
Man, y'all missing Parsons yet? Are you good with your edge rushers?
I feel like there's certain guys that we're playing over. Like Sam Williams hasn't taken a step for us. We're not giving, um, his his name is slipping my mind. But he used to play for the Detroit Lions. It's messing me up, but
Houston?
thank you, James Houston.
Oh,
He needs to get more snaps in there. Flower was okay, but he wasn't as good as he needed to be. So for me, I want to see some other guys get some snaps. But the trade has been like Kenny Clark has been great. He had a sack. He was getting pressures. He actually led the team with pressures in week two. So I think they're still trying to come alive with the scheme. And like Mike pointed out, as a Raku, I feel like we throw him into the deep way too soon. I don't want him to get discouraged. But back to like Russell Wilson, I feel like now I wouldn't probably trade a second, but you probably could sell if somebody like, hey, we just saw Joe Burrow go down. If if I'm in the league and I see that, I'm hitting him right up. Like, hey, you need a quarterback? I got this nice sexy quarterback that just threw for 400 yards right here. We're
Leading
sitting
the league in passing yards.
in passing yards. Come get him for a second. Now, if you pay more than a second, you might be on crack. I'm just gonna tell you that right now. But now
Drugs.
that's where we're going with. And if I'm looking at some other guys during the week, And shout out to our boy Max, because I know he's doing a victory lap too. And we got Ignacio in the house. Welcome back, my G. Thank you for tuning in again. Uh, and looking at more of the comments. But we also had Drake May be a top 5 quarterback in week 2. But at the same time, I feel like he's doing a good job of spreading the ball around. There's not a single person or a single receiver he's like throwing it to get hella targets. So I feel like we all thought Stephon Diggs was going to come in and hit the ground running. It's been okay. It hasn't been like, hey, go trade for this guy or even 10 plus points, but it's been there.
Booty.
Booty. How do you feel like how do you feel about the overall New England Patriots? How do you feel about Drake May actually? Do you think he's an ascending player, Addy?
You know, I see. I love Drake May. He is very fun to watch, but I don't feel like the throws to Booty are really sustainable, and that hurts because it's super fun to watch. Like I love seeing those deep targets, one-handed catches in the end zone. It looks incredible, but if I was looking at any player at this point, it seems like Stephon Diggs has fully taken away the Demario Douglas role. And when it comes down to it, Drake May is going to need to throw to that Demario Douglas role. So Stephon Diggs feels like the buy here. Like, if I'm taking anybody from that passing game, that's who I'm looking for.
Mm.
Who are you looking for, Raka?
Um, I, I think you're onto something here. I think Diggs has been the wide receiver one for years for multiple teams.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to expect coming off the ACL that it would take him a while to get ramped up on a new team. So yeah, I think Diggs is probably the correct answer. Um, I still got some interest in Booty. He's been good ever since he's got in there last year. So
You
if you
said
can get
booty
him on
good?
the cheap,
That's
oh
what you
yeah,
saying. Booty good.
oh yeah, Booty be eating.
Booty be.
Guys, hold up. We aren't even on the tight ends yet. Come on now.
Oh, that was a good one, Rocco. Go ahead, keep going.
No, but uh, I mean the thing that we like about that team, and that gives it fantasy upside, is that it's ambiguous. Like they got a bunch of guys that kind of fit in that same kind of bucket. Diggs has been there before, but he's also coming off the ACL. He's
Yeah,
also started kind of slow. So, I mean, could we write a script to where it's Kyle Williams by midseason?
I hope.
We saw
I'd
him,
love to see that.
really dusting guys off the line of scrimmage, in the preseason. He can get in there. What about the dark horse? Our guy Efton Chisholm. Is there a chance that he gets onto the field at some point? I
I mean,
mean,
I
he
feel
he
like
he, he made the team
yeah. I mean,
He did.
we're big
as
Afton
an
Chisholm guys.
undrafted guy.
Yeah,
A guy that crushed Cooper Cup's records in college. So those are kind of like the guys to kind of stash away while they're not doing anything,
mm.
and just see what happens, especially in a dynasty setting. It doesn't have to happen necessarily in 2025. But those are buying opportunities, and those are guys that you can stash, at the very end of your benches.
What's in? So there was a. I'm in. Like I said, I'm in 50 plus leagues. So someone just put several players out for a trade block, and what the name was Jaden Daniels, and they wanted 3 firsts. Since both of them were in the same draft, how much are you spending on Drake May? Or are you going a first and a second, a first and a third, just a first? Like, what would you feel comfortable
You,
going to acquire Drake May?
I mean, you aren't going to get him for a first and a third, without a doubt. Whoever has
absolutely
Drake
not.
May believes in him. Like, I feel like you got to send 2 firsts to get that done, but I really struggle to do that. Like, we need to see a bit more from the guy. Like, anyone can tear up this Miami defense. Uh, we just saw Indiana Jones do it. and that's awesome. But I want to see one more good game from Drake May before I really start declaring him a perennial top 12
Hmm.
QB because he's going to get knocked up. Oh, he's going to get knocked up. Phrasing. He's going to get knocked around a little bit.
Great movie,
Like
by the
he
way.
gets, yeah, yeah. Oh, fantastic one. But he's the type of player that could have a lot of risk, a lot like Jaden Daniels probably has. And we're already starting to see those bumps and bruises pile
Hmm.
up on those guys, and it does factor into the value. So if you have Drake May, especially with a team that's a little bit less developed than the Commanders, I'd be a little bit worried about taking two first to get him, but I do think that gets it done. What are you guys seeing in terms of value there?
I sent Rocco last year 2 firsts for Jonathan Taylor. So if I'm talking
Love
about
that.
like production, uh, I don't. I feel like I don't know. Wait, like I like Drake May. I really do. When I was doing the rankings and giving them out, I was very much saying that I not going to disagree with somebody that had Drake May ahead of Caleb Williams because I liked the tape. I liked what I saw out of Drake May from UNC. He is very underrated when it comes to his mobility. And hell, let's say he got drafted to Minnesota instead of New England. I
They
think
wanted him.
right. I think he would have that offense humming. And I like JJ, but he was better than JJ in my eyes, and wasn't even close. Not even a smidge.
Yeah.
So
I think Drake May. I mean, when we kind of boil it down to just attributes, he might be the most physically gifted out of all the six quarterbacks that came out in 2024.
mhm.
Um, but on the flip side, he probably also landed in one of the worst situations, especially last year. They've done a little
Could be
bit more to
worse.
try to help him out. What's that?
It could be
Could
worse.
be worse.
You
Could
could
be
be with
worse.
the
Could be
Bears.
worse. What's that?
You could be with the Bears.
Yeah. Go on. Sorry. Sorry to cut you
Yeah,
off.
yeah, yeah. But at least Caleb Williams has respectable weapons. Highly drafted guys, as weapons and guys that have been number ones, for other teams. Um, but physically gifted. I mean, he profiles. He looks a lot like Justin Herbert. In many aspects, he's a big, sturdy guy that's got some wheels. Could throw it to everywhere on the field. There's basically not a throw he can't make. And he's already showed you some wild plays. In his rookie year. So I like Drake May a lot. You probably get blocked if you send a single first for him. It's just not happening. That's just crazy talk. Two firsts might not happen. People that have Drake love Drake, and they're not just going to give him away. And they're encouraged by what they saw, what he did against the worst team in the league last week. So to Addie's point, yeah, I would like to see him do it against a non Mickey Mouse defense. And then we can be wheels up. But yeah, I give it another week. This is probably not the time to buy. You probably want to see him struggle against another good team, and then shoot your shot. But right now is not the time after he just destroyed, the Dolphins.
Belt to ass, he did. Now, the quarterback that had one of the better bounce backs because after week one, people was ready to get the pitchforks and throw him back under the bench. I'm talking about Bryce Young. No, they still lost week two, but he looked way more comfortable in week two. And I'm still waiting to see. I'm still waiting for him to put in more games to put more consistency. But I'm not ready to jump off the hill of Bryce Young just because of the overall, just how the overall scheme. And it might not get better because they actually did lose two of their offensive linemen in that game. So might be potentially
Yikes.
running more for his life. But hey, we saw our boy T Mac come out 100 yards, I believe 6 catches. We need more of that. How are you feeling about Bryce Young, Eddie?
Dude, so I've perennially been a Bryce Young hater for the past year and a half, and I'm gonna stand by it. Like it, if
I
I
like
can
it.
say anything, look at the past 2 weeks, and we've seen the Arizona Cardinals in 2 games really put the foot on the brake the second they get a lead. Like you're a Saints fan, Rocco. You saw them absolutely shut down the offense the second they got ahead. They did the exact same thing against the Panthers. The
Mhm.
underneath was wide open. We saw Jatavian Sanders absolutely balling out. I think he got 7 catches, 10 targets, something like that. That isn't going to happen unless you're playing the most vanilla defense you can. And I think that that's all that occurred in Bryce Young's good game. Like, he's fine. He's been playing a little bit better. We're seeing a bit more of the ceiling, but when this comes down to it, it's a quarterback that's really not panning out in the way that we want him to. And that does provide some risk for T Mac moving forward. Like I I love Tedera. He's really proved any doubt I had on him wrong, but I'm not gonna stand by and act like Bryce Young is the guy I want throwing him the football. Like who do they have at backup there, anyways?
Is it still Randy Dalton?
Andy? Is it Andy?
Del
Mr.
Dalton.
Andy? Yeah, Andy Dalton.
I,
Is it the Red
I thought it
Rocket?
was, but that feels like he retired, right? I'd probably imagine it, but
Oh, Andy,
I
Mr.
mean,
Andy. Mhm.
Andy Dalton does keep it safe at least. At least he does have some stability there if Bryce fully melts it.
So, what would you, if you're a Joe Burrow owner, would Bryce Young be on your short list of quarterbacks to go acquire in a pinch?
I want to say no.
If you're
Like,
not trying to spend big capital,
see, but that's the thing. I think you're still going to end up spending big capital if you're looking for Bryce Young. I feel like he's not the guy you need to be going for. I feel like you need to go for like a Tua or somebody that like ain't really living up to that hype so far. If you could get like maybe a Michael Penix on the low, Sam
Mhm.
Darnold, one of those guys that has performed well but hasn't performed incredible. Because Bryce Young, the owner saw the stat line at the end of the game. It, we have a lot of people that are box score watchers, and if you're a box score watcher, you love that Bryce Young game. But if you actually like watching football, you might be a little skeptical. So
mhm,
I wouldn't be looking for him. Hey, how are you guys feeling about it? Like, talk me off this ledge.
I'll give you a this or that for both of
Okay.
you, for both of you guys. Spencer Rattler, Bryce Young.
I, I think Bryce Young is a little bit more stable to
I
start
go
the whole
Bryce.
season because if the Saints keep losing as I project them to, then I mean they're going to have to see what they have in Shuck at some point. Even as good as Rattlers played, and 100% disclosure, I was not a Rattler guy, but he's played well in the first 2 weeks, but
Who,
other parts of that team are atrocious, including the depth and the defense after some frontline players. So I feel like they're going to have to force feed us Tyler Shuck at some point, while you know the Panthers don't have any such need to push us into Andy Dalton unless Bryce Young is just so terrible like he was in his first year and a half in the NFL. If he
mhm.
goes back to that, Andy Dalton's going to be back in there. So you may want to, put Dalton at the end of your bench because, he's a usable QB if he's in there. But I mean, it's in the best interest of the Panthers to stick with Bryce Young the whole season and see what pans out. And if it doesn't work, then they'll be right back into the 26 and 27 QB class.
And before we move to the running backs, I have one last question on the quarterbacks. Jared Goff, how are you feeling about, because he went against the Chicago Bears? How are you feeling about his performance? Do you think that it was a bounce back from his week one, where if I haven't, I've been on the in the middle. I don't think he's like an elite quarterback, but I don't think he deserves the flack that he does get or the hate that he does get. So, I think he's a very good QB2 that gives you
Mhm.
some weeks of QB1 production. How do you feel about Jared Goff for the rest of the year?
You don't feel like he's the number 15 player in the NFL? Sorry, moving off that, but first I have to say, and I apologize for using your podcast as a platform for this, but I do need to say, Dan Campbell, you are a bad sport. You did not win any sportsmanship trophies throughout your growing up. It's evident. You didn't need to do that to us. So
You
please stop.
I think him and I think him
use
and
our
Ben Johnson.
platform to talk your shit.
Yeah,
Use
him
our
and
platform to talk your shit. This is a
I'm
safe
not talking
space.
too loud. I don't want him to bite my kneecaps. But that being said, Jared Goff's an adequate quarterback. We're seeing the same thing from like Baker Mayfield, from a bunch of other number one picks who had to kind of become reclamation projects to really hit their ceiling.
Mhm.
And I think that he is really showing that if you surround him with the right weapons, if you give him an offensive line, and if you give him an opportunity, that he will be able to put up QB1 numbers. He was doing that for Sean McVay for a couple of years on the Rams before Khalil
Mhm.
Mack gave him like what is it? Sam Darnold seeing ghost syndrome.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it for QBs now, but he caught the same thing, and I really love what I've seen from Jared Goff. We were talking about pretty balls earlier. Like Jared Goff's a pretty quarterback in general, but he's got some of the prettiest balls that we see in the NFL too.
Oh, there. Whoa. I love that. And Rocco, do you have any closing remarks about Mr. Jared Goff and his week 2 performance?
No, just I mean, Jared Goff has landed in some of the best situations that a quarterback can. I mean, he was McVay's point guard for years, and had that, was kind of propped up by that offense, and he's been even more unlocked with the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions they have like the best weapons, the best weaponry in the league. As far as parts that make sense. You got your thumper in Montgomery. You got your speed guy. Everything can take it to the house at any moment with Gibbs and JMO, and you got a target hog with Amon-Ra St. Brown. You got, a new weapon in Tesla. So he just has great weapons. So I guess I say all of that to say that, if a quarterback has great weapons and they're competent, they can be a QB1 year over year. And he's basically been that. I mean, we laugh and say that we feel good about him as our QB2, but he's been a QB1. So, if you have him as your QB2, you're kicking ass.
Hell yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what I like to hear about Jared Goff. I feel bad for leaving you on the bench and making myself get an L. Maybe I will learn from this lesson because I started Justin Fields over you. Justin, please come back. You got a concussion. I hope you're back for week 2. You actually did kill me in quite a few of my leagues, but I hope you are back. Uh, and I'll let Addy answered this from Mr. Andrew. Welcome. I traded Jordan Mason and Romeo Dobbs for Roman Dunze. Okay, he had a good week too. In my 16-team PPR redraft league. Thoughts on this? I have Bijan, A Chain as my 2 starting running backs. My receivers are BTJ, Rome, Shakir, and Shaheed. Was that a good trade? And Addy, excuse me.
See, I love the Roma Doomsday side of that because you have a lot of untapped upside if they happen to move on from DJ Moore at any time over the next 4 weeks. We've already seen that Rome can put together some really solid ceiling performances. And if he's a wide receiver one, we could see that really take off. Now, that might not end up looking good for about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on how long Aaron Jones is out. But Jordan Mason is a fantastic running back. So I don't think either side of this trade really ends up looking bad, but I forever will be a Romeo Dobbs hater. The guy's athletic profile just doesn't have the ceiling, and eventually Matt Golden is going to be able to connect with Jordan Love on those deep balls, and then they won't need to throw to Romeo Dobbs because Tucker Kraft also exists.
Thank you. And I'm happy you spoke or mentioned the name of Matthew Golden because he's been getting too much hate these last when he's been cooking. They just haven't connected, but he's been cooking out there. Rocco, what are your comments? Do you think this is a good trade?
Yeah, I'm a Romo Dunze uh non enthusiast.
Nope.
Because I'm a big DJ Moore guy. But the writing's on the wall. It looks like Rome is gonna be that guy. He's the guy that's so far has emerged out of a very murky pass weapon room. We haven't really got anything from the rookies, and DJ Moore is doing his best to play himself out of town. So yeah, I mean the best player in that deal is Romo Dunze, and I'm a big fan of getting the best player in the deal. So give me Romo Dunze. Romeo Dubes is nothing to me. I mean, I have zero shares. I don't really care for him. He'll make a play, and everybody will be saying that he's the number one. But I mean, we don't really want him to be the number one. We want just anybody in on that team to be the number one besides him. And Jordan Mason, he's here. He's here for a good time, but I don't know if he's here for a long time. Aaron Jones will be back at some point. So Mason will rake for a little while, as long as the offense keeps humming with Wentz in there. But I mean, it's Odunze easy.
And Jose makes a good pivot for us to go to the running backs. He asked James Conner for Jordan Mason. I am someone who's going to go to the James Conner end. I think he's very, very disrespected. He just produces. And yes, he's an older guy, but I always just throw a second when I need a running back. I just go and throw a second for Connor because I know he's going to give me some solid points. Okay, I don't need him to be. And there's sometimes where he might just give you really an RB1 type week. He goes kind of stupid. They use him in the passing game. They use him in the running game. But what kind of has me more, well, I'm keeping more an eye on. I believe Trey Benson has taken a step. I think Trey Benson has gotten better from his rookie year. So he's starting to cut more into James Conner's shares or snaps. But what do you guys think about that? James Conner for Jordan Mason.
So the receiving game's the thing that worries me because James Conner's always been a reliable receiver. Like that, tried and true, that has always been his calling card that takes him from being one of those Dave Montgomery, like sort of mid tier backs to being a guy who actually has a running back one upside. Trey Benson's leading in RB targets right now. He's got 7, Connor's got 5. And I know, small sample size, pretty much small. So if we're talking about 2 weeks, that doesn't say much. But I love Trey Benson's athletic profile. I don't think there's a better one out there. The guy's huge and he can run fast. So if we start seeing some ceiling from him, it might be a little scary for Connor, but every time that I doubt Connor, I have to come on a podcast and apologize for doubting Connor. So, I can't hate that side of the deal. I think that at a minimum, you got just about as long of a shelf life for Connor, if not longer than Mason.
And what do you think about that trade, Rocco?
Yeah, I think it's Connor. Um, you're more likely to be able to flip Connor, later in the season if you have to. If this is, if this is redraft or dynasty, I think you can still, flip Connor on name value. But when, um, you know, I don't think Mason's gonna have that full role for the whole season because Aaron Jones will be back at some point. And I mean, do we really trust that offense? What does the full role for for Jordan Mason look like? Because if JJ McCarthy, and I'm a JJ McCarthy apologist, but I mean he is a rookie, and Carson Wentz. Are we trusting Carson Wentz in this offense? So I feel like Connor's in the better offensive environment at the moment. So give me the guy that's done it, and give me the guy that I can flip if need be at some point.
And Jose, we'll get to your last question here in a moment, but I do want to get to the top 15 running backs here real quick for time purposes. The I'll just name off the top 15 running backs from the week two. You got Jonathan Taylor as at the number one spot. James Cook, Devon A. Chain, Javante Williams, once again, victory lap. Christian McCaffrey, Ramondre Stevenson, Bijan Robinson, Jameer Gibbs, KW3. A lot of y'all owe him an apology right now, actually. Kuba Hubbard, Buckley Irvin, Jalen Warren, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne, and number 15, Alvin Kamara. It was a good week, actually, for the running backs. Solid production. Even at the 15th mark, that is 16 points for the week. That's good. That's a really solid RB1 type week. Jonathan Taylor, the king of the week. I have him in plenty of leagues. Like I said, I traded two last year. I traded two first rounders to get him off of Rocco's team. I tried to sell him back for two first rounders. Rocco wasn't going for it, but no,
I told you to go to fucking hell.
he was
Rebuilding, bro.
he wasn't going for it. He wasn't.
I'm not
So,
taking running backs on a rebuild. Not
out of
ready.
those, out of those 15,
2026 path.
out of those 15 guys, who really impressed you out of week two, and then who makes you feel comfortable of leaning on them that you feel like, and you notice that I didn't say Derrick Henry in there. He wasn't even in the top 20, 25, 30. So how do you feel about those guys that I mentioned for your teams? Like, who's your favorite, actually?
So the one Derrick Henry was RB 59. Crazy week. But that being said, I hate to gas you up even more here, but Jonathan Taylor's who I'm feeling most comfortable with. The guy looks incredible, and we're finally seeing a competent offense for him. For the longest time, we were just rotating between Philip Rivers, Joe Flacco, Anthony Richardson, or whatever
Mhm.
was left of him that week. Like, we are finally getting to see a Jonathan Taylor run Colts, and it is incredible. It's exactly what everyone's always wanted. He was my bringing home the bacon player this year, and I could not be more hyped. But if I was going to go anyone else outside of that, you know, give me KW3. Jeez, I can't talk today. Finally got to see him reclaim that role, and the guy is incredible. He might be the most fun running back to watch in the NFL. He is so great. Every advanced metric supports him. And he finally has somebody taking a little bit of the tread off of his tires. Like he found they found their Montgomery to his Gibbs, which can't hate it. Like it's less productive, but screw it. He might play the whole season, and that's all we're looking for. Where are you going, Rocco?
Um, you know who impressed me on Sunday, and maybe because I was drunk as a skunk at the Saints game, and I really don't remember much after about 2:30 my time. But Alvin Kamara, he finished with 99 yards. Unfortunately, on that game-winning drive, he lost a yard, so he didn't crest that 100-yard barred barrier. But he's just an ageless one. Pass catching, and I feel like this could be the year he finally gets to 1,000, and it's just it's just a much more competent offense than I anticipated, and the offensive line is probably as good as it's been in the last few years. We've had several guys bust out, but the team keeps going back to the offensive line well, and I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there with the offensive line, and this is going to be one of the better offensive lines that AK's had in several years. So I think when you talk about a guy that you can buy, which is funny because I have him on several teams and I couldn't sell that guy for a second in the offseason.
What?
Like,
Really?
yeah, this stink with the Saints was that bad,
People
where
hate
people
Kamara
just did.
for no reason.
Yeah. It's funny in dynasty fantasy football. People are the worst ageist
Mm.
in the offseason, but then the season starts and they're like, oh shit, I need points on my team to
He's a
win
good player.
fantasy matchups. Like, duh, I was trying to give you this guy for a fucking second because I was trying to roster, Joe Blow at the bottom of my roster, and I got like five, stud running backs. But
Yeah.
you know, I digress. But it, the price of that brick went up. I'll just tell you that you're not getting him for a second anymore. You better come with first. But I think he's going to have an awesome season. I say all that to say that I really was impressed in my drunk induced stupor and many Crown and Cokes. Yeah, he looked awesome out there.
And then some sleepers from week 2 for the running backs. Bashal Tootin had a nice week with 15.4 points. I want to see how his role is going forward. I know ETN is on a roll. I know he's doing this thing, but he adds a little bit of spark element to that offense. They still some basura, I will say that, but I want to see him get more shares of that, more shares in there. And then if we're looking at some other guys, that was going to be my next guy. I was going to talk about Cam Scatterbo. Cam Scatterbo. He got himself a tutty. He runs like he wants CTE. He actually out snapped Tyrone Tracy.
I I hope you sold those Tracy shares because they are worth shit at going forward.
He outsnapped them in the first half. Are you a fan of Cam Scatterbo, Addy?
I love watching Cam Scatabo, and as an analytics guy, I don't know how long it can last. Like we've seen plenty of guys like this. Like these running backs aren't long for the NFL, and I'm terrified that that's going to be the case. I was a big believer in Tracy this offseason. I love his full athletic profile. He can catch the ball great, but Scatabo can catch the ball pretty well, and
Yeah,
he does a little bit more with his carries than Tracy can do. He does more with his carries than anybody can do because the second that somebody hits him, he's putting his helmet directly in their face. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
love Scannon. It's fun to watch. I can't hate it, but I'm terrified. If you got Scatterbo, you should. I'm inclined to think that this is a good sell window because everybody got to see Scatterbo look better than Tracy last week. And I think it's going to be more of an even split. I think we're going to see a lot of Tracy on third down. And Scannabo already had an injury this preseason. Like, he was already working through stuff. We're going to see that again if the Giants keep giving him the ball the way they are.
I think someone said Cam Scatterbo is going to have the worst post-career body.
Man, you can't have a
Come on,
brain
man.
injury when you don't have a brain. It's all
Like
good.
Earl Campbell. If
He
y'all,
ain't got nothing to hurt up there.
Earl Campbell was one of the most punishing runners of NFL history. If you don't know how Earl Campbell's body has been after his NFL career, the brother's in a wheelchair. So that should tell you
I mean,
all.
that's football. Like most of these guys, yeah, most of these guys, it doesn't it doesn't go well for them. They're all busted up. We just hope and pray that the CTE doesn't catch up to them where they're just doing crazy shit because it's happened in the past. But um, I mean, it's NFL.
Are y'all ready to talk some tight ends before we get to the receivers?
Well, one last one before that.
Sure thing.
I, I, I got a quick one here because I've been on fantasy Twitter a lot lately, and I've realized that I, I thought I was alone here, but there are other closeted Rashad White believers. And I want to know, do you guys think that there's anything there? Do you guys see that Rashad White
Man,
coming back to
I,
any RB1 ceiling?
Man, I'll tell you what. I've been a Rashad White hater.
Yeah, me
His
too.
play, his play,
Love it.
his running acumen in the past has just been terrible. It seemed like he just runs into the back of his offensive lineman and goes down, 2 yards in a cloud of dust. But he looked really, really good on Monday night, and he was, he was making guys missing the hole and getting past the mush of the line and making things happen. So I'm of the belief that he could have a secondary career breakout for another team. It might not happen uh, in Tampa, and there's quite a few teams that should come calling Tampa to try to get Rashad White onto their team, like a Houston,
Houston, 100%.
Chicago Bears,
Would
because I
love that.
think he does have a three down skill set, and I mean, smallest of sample sizes, but what I watched last night was a guy that looked like he picked up something from Bucky Irvin, a guy that was forcing missed tackles instead of just running into the nearest defender and going down for 2 or 3 yards. So it would be interesting for me to see him get on another team, team with opportunity. And as a guy that's holding on to some Rashad White because that his value dropped precipitously very quick last year as soon as Bucky Irving got in there.
Hmm.
So, there was no sell window once Bucky got in there, but I believe he could be emerge on a second team.
Love
Yeah.
it. Love to hear it.
No.
Let's
I
slide
will point,
into the tight end.
and I will point out to Chef because I know
Bodie.
Booty. I know Chev has been all over this player for the tight ends. Tucker Kraft was tight end one of week two, tore the Commanders up, beat their ass. And it wasn't just because he had a long reception, because I believe he had 70 plus yards even after that.
Mhm.
So Tucker Kraft, I believe, actually, if we're talking about wide receiver, you can't even say wide receiver one. We're just receiver one in that Packers offense.
Number one pass catcher.
Number one pass catcher right now is Tucker Kraft for them. It seems like Love feels very comfortable getting him the ball. He's still trying to figure out what his receivers with timing and whatnot. But him and Kraft seems like they've been on it since the beginning of since week one. I know it's only been 2 weeks, but the sample size we've seen, some people keep saying he's baby George Kittle, baby George Kittle reincarnated. What do y'all think about that?
Love it. They could not agree more. I don't even go into depth. You covered it perfectly. The dude's George Kittle. Yeah, he's George Kittle before a lot of injuries. So if you have him this year, make sure you don't drop him for JCM like I did week one.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, I'm shout out to JCM, but
Yikes.
oh.
Yeah, it doesn't
Yikes.
feel good.
Yikes. Hopefully that was because of a super short bench in redraft. Um,
It was
okay,
never in
okay.
Dynasty.
Not
Never in
in
Dynasty.
Dynasty.
Yeah.
Because I will say that Chev Dor Sanders came on this here podcast and said that Tucker Kraft would outscore Brock Bowers in
He did.
2025. And so far, Tucker Kraft is outscoring Brock Bowers in 2025. I mean, there's not there. What is there not to love? I mean, last year he feasted on low A dot, passes close to the line of scrimmage, and he would always make the first guy miss. And pretty much everything he did was through misforced tackles, and he did it very well. And we heard, shout out to Coach Speak Index that they had clips where they were talking about the team wanting to get him more targets downfield and let him do that misforced tackle magic on corners and safeties and guys
Mhm.
downfield, and they've done exactly that. And what that has done is completely unlock Tucker Kraft. But what we need in a tight end for a tight end to truly break out is to be a for most of the time an elite athlete and a top two guy on their team's target tree. And he's both. He's probably the number one target on that team. I don't see anybody else that's particularly close to him from a talent perspective. So yeah, I mean, I expect this to happen all season. And he is the guy that we thought George Kittle was going to be this year. Quite honestly.
I'm right there with both of y'all. And I hate Tucker Craft. Won me a couple of week twos. I ain't gonna lie. Just off of him, off of his performance. Then
Oh
looking,
man. No, just one aside. I helped my wife draft a team, and uh, and I got her Tucker Craft on her team, and so far she is leading the league in scoring after 2 weeks by 100 points.
ooh, ooh, you better show you better talk your shit. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
I helped her. It was I didn't draft it. Obviously, I didn't draft the whole team. Anybody looking at? I did not draft. I did not draft the team.
but
I
you got it right.
helped.
You got it right though. And then looking at these rest of these tight ends, which is not really it's not the longest list, but Zach Ertz had a fun week. I have him in a lot. I've been on Zach Ertz. I keep telling people there was a reason why Trey McBride didn't see the field when Zach Ertz was around. Zach Ertz. He's old, but
Because
he's old,
drugs.
reliable.
Staff
I
was on
tell you.
cocaine.
Then, as I told people, I told you to start Jake Ferguson week 2. I told you, and he was the tight end 3, tight end 4, which might make Rocco throw up. Juwan Johnson, which
One thing
go ahead.
to start that game, Jawan Johnson had two of the worst drops I've ever seen. And in week one, he
I
dropped the
was just
game
about to
tying
say the same thing.
touchdown. Opportunity is worth more than uh, being good at football. I'll tell you that. And he's going to get opportunity, but you cannot convince me that guy is good at football because I was shouting that he is not even a person anymore. He is Jawan Johnson's contract. Jawan Johnson's contract, but Rattler loves him, so he's gonna put up some shit
Hey, Addy,
anyway.
here it is. So I run a league. I took over a league as commissioner,
Yep.
and in this league, it is either 3 point tight end premium or 4 point tight end
Yikes!
premium. Do you want to know what Dewan Johnson's projected points right now are?
It's got to be 20.
27.
38.
Oh my lord.
27 right now. And I'm going to the league right now because I want to see how many points he actually did end up scoring. I ended up losing anyway, but nevertheless, Brock Bowers. You can only imagine how many points Brock Bowers had in 2024 in this league. Quite nuts. Jawan Johnson finished with and once again, this is either 3 or 4 tight end premium. He had 27.90 points for me in week 2 off of 5 catches, 49 yards, and a tutty. I didn't see, and I would even put on a note. I got Jawan Johnson off of waivers and for $40. I had to drop 40. I didn't have no tight ends, so I had to drop my. Before
All
we
right.
reset it. I had to drop $40 on Jawan Johnson. Were you? I don't think nobody was expecting for him to be even close to tight end in the top five of tight ends and to start 2025. Would you agree with that?
I didn't have that on my bingo card. He's athletic as all hell. Like he gets open. He's not great at the other stuff. He's basically the QJ of tight ends, but like
Mhm.
it even QJ has a couple good weeks.
Yeah. And shout out to Jared because he's in our Discord and also in our Twitter group. He's been the chairman of the QJ, and we'll get on the receivers here in a bit. He's been the chairman of the QJ. I've been all offseason. I was like, man, I'm not buying into the hype. QJ might make me eat crow, but looking at the rest of these tight ends, Trey McBride finished off the top 5 of tight ends. John sleeper though, John Tavian Sanders was tight end 6, and I actually liked him coming out of Texas. He was just banged up his rookie year. I was hoping that him and Bryce Young would grow some more chemistry because he is or could develop into a good tight end. And I see you shaking your head. Yes, Addy. Talk about some
Number one
Jatavius.
exposure player. Love that guy.
Number one.
Number one. Yep. Because you could get him at tight end 27 in the drafts. He showed a little bit of flash. You know, his biggest competition with Tommy Tremble. Yeah, that ain't making me tremble.
Thank you. Yeah. No pun intended. And then after that, it was like Tyler Warren, and then kind of just some cupcake guys. And I won't say, and I don't want to disrespect anybody. And shout out to Ignacio. He said safety blanket for JD5, and he's talking about Zach Ertz. His previous comment: Zach Ertz might f around and be Washington's number 2 target this year for most days. You could say that. I mean, Debo right now is getting, I believe he's number 1 in target share, and then it's Zach Ertz, and then it's Terry McLaurin. And I like Terry McLaurin. I will never disrespect, even if he is a former Philadelphia Eagle, I will never disrespect Zach Ertz because he does wonders for my fantasy teams. And where you could have selected him in startup drafts, chef's kiss. I'm not somebody who ever really selects tight ends early, so his Zach Ertz was always my backup plans if I was going to wait on the tight end.
In 10 years, Ben Sennett's going to look like a really good pick.
I feel like we all keep saying, when's Benson not going to get his
Don't
chance?
don't worry. When he gets on the field, he's the next Trey McBride.
He is. He is. Whenever that is. 2020 or
Whenever that may be.
2042, he's going to be great.
And to end off the tight end discussion, one topic that keeps coming in my head of what people keep asking: the usage between David Njoku and Harold Fannin Jr., who me and Rocco Rocco has him in 50% rostered in his leagues,
Oh,
and
hell
I'm
yeah.
damn near have him in, I'll say about 35 because I'm in 50, so it's hard to, and I've taken over a few, so it's hard to get him
You
in.
wanting to get him in my league?
Harold, how have you
Shared.
been? We've been ringing the victory bell with Harold Fannin Jr., but we didn't think he would hop into this
Couldn't have imagined.
right. Like,
It's like Christmas, man. It's awesome. This guy was the most fun tight end prospect I've ever seen in my entire life. He is so cool. I was hyped. I got him in 50% of my dynasty leagues. I'm pretty excited about him. But like, I couldn't have it. This is so much higher than what I thought the ceiling would be in year one. He's playing in the slot 50% of the time, man. This
that's
is crazy.
beautiful. Yeah,
It's so
and
cool.
it's like at this point, is somebody giving up Harold Fannin Jr. for a second? Because I'm telling you to no. I'm telling you hell
I'm
no.
not.
Especially in tight end premium, you're not getting no Harold Fannin Jr. off of me, buddy. I promise you that. Y'all had your chances. He was in a lot of rookie drafts. You could have selected Harold in the third. Sometimes even the fourth he slid. Sometimes you even could got him in. I got him in 3 leagues off of waivers.
Mm-hmm.
If it was just 3 rounds of rookie. Harold Fannin Jr. was, because people liked. I mean, I still like Mason Taylor. People like Ferguson. People liked, well, some other guys. Gunnar Helm. I saw people select Gunnar Helm before they selected Harold Fannin
Don't do
Jr.
that.
Methamphetamines, meth.
Don't
Okay,
don't 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 do it. Don't do it.
don't do it to yourself, man. And at this point, if you have Harold Fannin Jr., you're running laps around your house. If you're in the league where your league mates are trying to get him, and at this point, people are trying to fleece you. They're trying to underpay you. I feel like his value is just going to keep going up at this point. And if he keeps playing the way he is, David Njoku might not be in Cleveland, but he might come very expendable very
I was
quickly.
about to say his days might be numbered there.
You know who's expendable on that team is Jerry Judy. Jerry Judy, I think, is going to be the odd man out because I feel like Njoku's still going to have moments because essentially him and Fannin are playing two different positions. Fannon's playing mostly out of the slot while Njoku's playing, the traditional tight end. And Tillman's having a very quiet breakout. So even though Jerry Judy did get paid, he may be the odd man out in that target tree period.
I'm not going to hype too much. I'm not going to hype Tillman in week 2 just because the tutty he caught was literally off a deflection from a defender. It was nothing that boy did to get him a tutty except for keep his eyes open.
Man, that's he's showing you that football intelligence by being in the right spot at the right time. Something that Jerry Judy has never done in his career.
I mean, he
Glass
did.
half full, man. I love that for you.
Yeah, right. I mean, hey, listen, Jerry Judy was top 10 last year, so he if
That's Jameis Winston's stat.
or like top
Top
12. I
10
don't
in
care what.
drops.
Or top 12. Or was it top 12 or top 15? I know he's top 15 or something like that. Maybe not top 10. But
That's a Jameis Winston YOLO stat.
you know what I mean? If
Tillman was outscoring him until he got hurt.
Wide
and then
receiver one for 3 weeks.
especially well, since we're talking about Jerry Judy, let's talk about the receivers because I got some more victory laps to go around. Got I got some more, and
It's early, bro.
hey, listen, I
You're
don't care.
victory lapping Fields. You got to
I'm
sit your
cool.
ass down now.
No, I do not. A concussion does not. A concussion means absolutely nothing to
He
a player.
wasn't playing good before that.
You're gonna blame the concussion on Matt Fields week.
Listen,
Come on, man.
I'll ride with
You missed one drive.
like Justin Fields he's the reason why he was even in the game. So there's no way I feel like
They were
somebody
down like
could
20-3, like in the first like half. To what game would have hit?
like Justin. Hey, listen, Justin. Hey,
Sorry, sorry.
and it doesn't really.
Receivers.
Yeah. So Amon Ross St. Brown came back. PPM. This is in PPR leagues. Top dog with 39.2 because he didn't do what you needed from him in week one. He kind of let you down, just like Jamar Chase let you down in week one. Both came back pissed off because 39.2 from Amon Ross St. Brown. Malik Neighbors, cover my eyes, 37.7 points, called belt to ass. Jamar Chase, 36.5 points. Roma Dunze, and then Wandale Robinson. That's kind of crazy to see two Giants receivers in the top five. Cowboys, we can't have that shit, bro. We out here embarrassing ourselves in front of the hoes. I don't like it. Now, the victory lap that I wanted to take because of and Addy, you talk about analytics. I'm really a big of an analytics guy, and I felt like come his draft profile, he was nothing but a beautiful analytically wise. And who am I talking about? Troy Franklin finished wide
Okay.
receiver 7, and I wish I acquired him more in the offseason. I wish because you could have sent out some thirds at that point. How people were feeling
You
about
could have
Troy
taken
Franklin.
a fourth. Yeah, people. No one wanted Troy Franklin this offseason. I
And
I
it,
love the guy.
and it hurts me. Talk about how go a little bit more in depth about Troy Franklin.
Yeah. Troy Franklin, absolute speedster. We were wondering if he was going to get that opportunity because he was behind Mims. They took who's the guy that was the Marquise Colston lookalike that they were hyping
Oh,
up
Pat
Pat
this
Bryant.
Bryant.
year? Pat Bryant. And obviously they had Cortland Sutton there. But aside from that, it is one of the weakest target trees in the NFL. Evan Ingram hasn't looked himself to start the series. A little banged up. What else is new for Evan Ingram? Troy Franklin has been wide open, and he already had that chemistry coming from Bo Nix. Like
Yup.
they already had that Oregon Ducks thing going.
Mhm.
I'm shocked that this didn't happen earlier, but Troy Franklin, I think is actually I think we might be catching lightning in the bottle here. I think he fits great in that passing offense. And if you were looking at guys that absolutely are a skill match to be on the other side of Cortland Sutton, it's not Marvin Mims, it's not Pat Bryant, it's Troy Franklin.
A perfect compliment. And I tried to send out a 2026 second for him today. Also got told to go to hell. So it's it's kind of a wrap at this point. It kind of hurts me. I wish I was more proactive on acquiring him, and now it might be too late. And I don't want to send a first just because I need to see more. But we might just be in that territory now where people don't after a 20-point game, people don't want to come off a young talent like that just for a second anymore. It hurts me to say. We do have a comment in here from the Smitty. He says, I'm 0-2
Peace, Smitty.
and two quarterback league. Daniel's cube. Boy, what is we doing with this typing? Daniel's cube, Purdy out. Backups. Boy, that's whole block right there is fucking me up. Backups are Ward and Rattler. RBs are Henderson and Monty. Brian Robinson. Yeah, throw Brian Robinson and Backwood. And Connors, Merritt, Browning, and Matt Jones are on waiver. Who would you prioritize? Well, I would go for Browning because Joe Burrow's owner is 100% shooting for Browning right now. Sell him for the most high, and then reap the benefits. Matt Jones actually looked good or decent. He didn't lose the game. And he didn't win them the game either, but he also didn't look bad for the 49ers. It's Kyle Shanahan's offense. That's why I feel like Brock Purdy's in a good position just because of who his coach is. But if you had to prioritize, hmm, because he said his RBs are Browning and Matt Jones are on. Browning and Matt Jones are on waivers. So out of those two, Browning and Matt Jones, who are y'all rolling with on waivers?
Browning easy because he's going to start the whole season. Purdy will be back at some point. His turf toe wasn't as bad.
Yeah, you knew Mac Jones was going to have one good week. Kyle Shanahan was waiting to get an opportunity to start Mac Jones. Like, the guy's just waiting for the opportunity to make every quarterback that people were down on look good. He already did it with Sam Darnold. He's done it with Mac Jones. Zach Wilson will someday be starting in a 49ers uniform, probably after he's fully bottomed out. But take Browning, without a doubt.
And once again, sell them for what you can, even if it's a third. Capital is
Mm-mm.
capital because he was
Give me
on
that
waivers.
second. I want that second.
Push it more. He said, "Oh, we got another comment." He says, "That's what I was thinking. Plus, Purdy will be back soon, and I was thinking Browning to handcuff all the decent quarterbacks left to make someone trade. What do you think? Good, good mental to have. It's always, and my advice to everybody, and me and Rocco say this all the time: be a waiver warrior. Don't kill all your fab in the first second weeks, though. But because you never know when injuries pop up, guys. And this, some guys, I saw somebody who was it? Darren Waller ended up signing to the Dolphins, and this is a league where fab didn't reset, and he spent like $150 on Waller, and he hasn't even played all of the season yet. Kind of crazy. Oh, we got another comment, bro. I feel like you're a new one. Welcome to Fourth and Fantasy, my G. What up, boys? What up? What up? Would you trade Travis Etienne for Brian Thomas Jr. full PPR? My RBs would still be Derrick Henry, David
Fuck
Montgomery,
no.
and Scatterbo.
Don't do it.
Would you
Don't do
trade
it.
Etienne for Brian? Oh, he's going to go. Would you trade Travis Etienne for Brian? He's going to go get Brian
Oh,
Thomas Jr.
do it. Do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, damn, you're that in on Travis Etienne. I like
His face.
Etienne, but not like that.
I
My
saw
eyes
Eddie
was a
face.
little my eyes were a little dyslexic on that one. Okay. Yeah,
Is,
win for the
is
win.
he? My question
Immediately.
is the Brian Thomas Jr. owner that has he given up on BTJ that quickly? Now, I will say, looking back at the film on week two, BTJ, you have some explaining to do. You have some very bad drops. You look like you was not trying to get hit.
He's got a
Man,
wrist injury.
you can't be doing that. And Liam Cohen was trying not to throw him under the bus as much. And if you, I don't know if y'all caught his post interview after, but and I think just this is his personality. He doesn't really give. He's not like a rah kind of guy. He's fairly quiet. So I don't really expect to get like a lot of I don't see him to go AJ Brown, a CD Lamb, those type of guys, right?
Mhm.
So if I'm the Brian Thomas owner, I don't see why I'm doing Travis Etienne. But if that's already a trade that's in your inbox, easy money, man. He's one of our foundational pieces, and Etienne is yes, he is showing nice this year, and I'm glad that he's back. I feel like we're back in 2023, kind of crazy, but Tuden is only a nettable. I butchered that word. It's only it's only about
It's
time until
gonna happen.
right. It's only about time until Tuten starts to eat more into his carries. Only is going to take about ETN injury or a fumbling, and shoot, Tuten has fumbling issues too. Don't and then we also got to throw in LaQuint Allen that could sometimes get some burn in there if things start to go south with ETN. But for all the people that held on, shout out to you. Shout out to Travis Etienne. I would probably still keep Brian Thomas Jr. just because of I feel like young receivers hold more value. But I could see either way. If it's redraft, If it's dynasty, I'm keeping Brian Thomas Jr. Redraft, probably still going Brian Thomas Jr. But in redraft, I feel like it's a better conversation just on how the Jaguars' offense is going. I don't think Liam Cohen has schemed his wide receivers. Like, it's not, they're barely even using Travis Hunter at this point in the passing game, which is throwing me off. So he says for sure, BTJ owner is just panicking. Oh yeah, throw that out. Go ahead, throw that trade. He panicking?
Yeah.
Throw that trade. Go ahead. Make scare money don't make no money, and I love when people panic. Were you gonna say something, Addy?
No, no, I'm on the same page as you guys here. You can't click accept fast enough on that one.
Oh, it's redraft. See, even
Oh
better.
yeah,
Do it.
yeah.
So ETN is his best offer so far. Ew. Damn, your lead really don't mess with. If that's the shit. That's the best offer he got so far. Yeah, y'all a tough crowd, man. I want to know how y'all trading in that league. Is it a lot of trading? Goodness, I mean,
I can't
you're
be trading
welcome.
much.
You're welcome, bro. Looking at some other guys, would y'all believe me if I told you, and who might still be on waivers? So if he still is on waivers, go get him. Hunter Henry finished wide receiver 8. That is with 23.8 points. I didn't have that on my week 2 bingo card, and I wish I didn't drop him in some leagues where when we had roster cut downs. Kind of crazy. Are we? I'm not gonna say that you should hop on the Hunter Renfro train. But if he is on your waivers, I feel like that's a free ad, and it seems like him and Bryce Young have some good chemistry together. What do y'all
Are
say
you
about that?
guys believe you're believing the Hunter Henry stuff? Okay, I kind of feel like that's very similar to the Daniel Jones end, where this is an opportunity where Hunter Renfro actually gets to get all the targets they should be getting.
Hmm.
Like the second Jalen Coker comes back, that's not going to hold up in my mind. And they're in garbage time a lot. I agree that garbage time is going to benefit Sanders and Hunter Renfro more than anyone else, but if we think that the Panthers are even remotely going to hold up in any games, I can't see Hunter Renfro being the number one target there because they already have an efficient tight end and they have an alpha target getter in T-Mac. So what what's the case for Hunter Renfro? Do you guys think the ceiling is sustainable?
I totally forgot about Coker being out, and yeah, if when Coker's go back, then things turn a little. Unless, and this is a big if, unless they finally give up on Xavier Leggett.
I
Right.
would.
Yeah, I
If they finally give up
It's
on
not.
Xavier Leggett, then your
I
top
gave
receivers
I
are
gave up on him before he was drafted.
so before,
6 year
like
breakouts ain't happening.
if it turns out that way, your receivers for Panthers could be T Mac, Jalen Coker, Hunter Renfro as your top guys.
Jatavian Sanders. I think what Hunter Renfro did was gave you a chance to get off of him for a third or fourth round pick. And that would be my advice on that. I mean, he's found money. You probably just picked him up off of waivers last week or a couple weeks ago. You probably forgot to drop him because after week 1, that's probably what you should have done. So, take that money, cash out, find somebody desperate enough to give you anything for him, and get that.
Hell yeah. Looking at some
It's not a long term thing that's happening with him.
and then looking at these other guys, we have James. Well, the one who made the most of his touches because I think he only got 2 catches throughout the whole game. Jamison Williams, and he went over 100 yards. Like goodness, yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to keep rubbing this shit on you, bro. I'm sorry. I
No,
totally.
you're good. You're good. I have friends that are Lions fans. My mom's from Detroit. It hurts enough.
Yeah,
I know. It's just every day, dude. They're so good. I can respect it. I'm hyped. I'm glad Jameson Williams finally put up a ceiling game there, and he has that talent. He's gonna do that sometimes. That I'd be a little scared if I was a Jameson Williams owner because he's not getting the target share that he should be, right? Like wouldn't you expect him to get more than two opportunities in a game where they were rubbing it into the Bears until the very end? Amon-Ra got like 27 targets that game, and half of them were in the fourth quarter. Like, wouldn't JMO be a bigger part of that game plan?
Hey,
Because me and Chev argued about this all offseason because I thought JMO's ceiling was a little bit tenuous, but I'm still feeling that way today.
yeah,
I told,
I'll say this: the people that said that JMO was going to take over as the wide receiver one of that team, no, no,
They're quiet.
he doesn't earn targets at a rate high enough for him to ever do that. I don't care how many 50-yard TDs he scores, he will never take over that mantle from Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra is the sun and stars of that offense. He will always get his 140 plus targets. And JMO, he'll be super duper happy to even get to 100.
he's our modern Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson never needed 10 catches in a game to be productive. He was always there was always a chance for him to bust out a 70-yard touchdown, an 80-yard touchdown, a 90-yard touchdown.
But he's
And I
also
think
just as likely to get you, one catch for 12 yards
that is
because
also very
the
true.
targets because the targets just won't be there. So, it's better in best ball, I guess is what I would say. I feel more comfortable in a starting lineup setting to have him as like my wide receiver three or a flex play than have to count on him week in and week out because two catches for 100 yards and a touchdown that that does not make me feel good about what he's going to do all season.
And
See,
then
and the
oh,
roughest. Oh, sorry.
no,
You go.
go, no,
No,
go,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
The roughest part about JMO is you guys have been talking trade value a lot today. Like, who is trading you what you deserve for JMO Williams? Like, he has a good game. It's three catches. The people you're sending trade offers to know that you're selling him at a ceiling immediately. Like, you can't even use the box score to justify your case. That's the roughest part about having a player like that.
Yeah, and I sold JMO for JMO got me JMO and I believe Evan Ingram got me Jawan Jennings and it got me Chris Godwin before this was last year, and then Chris Godwin went on a tear, then completely obliterated his ankle. Ended up, I think I still have Chris Godwin, or I might have traded Chris Godwin. Oh no, I traded Chris Godwin, which is kind of looking crazy now. But I traded Chris Godwin and Juwan Jennings for Jerry Judy because I thought he was going to get more of the target share. He hasn't got a lot of the target share as of this very moment, but I'm still holding on. I might just have to pivot there. But when I'm looking at some of these rest of these guys and who I want to end off our rival discussion with, because of he put on it, not that he went over 100 yards, but he got himself another touchdown. Addy, where were you selecting Amika Ibuka in rookie drafts this year?
Not early enough. I was high on the guy. I had him like late first, and that's not high enough. He was incredible. My initial eval on him was that he was the wide receiver one in this class. I kind of talked myself off of it. I put Golden ahead of him. I put Ted ahead of him, and I could not regret it more because Amika's been incredible. He is just so fun to watch. I don't know what they do when Chris Godwin does come back because he's going to come back this year. He's already on the practice field. I doubt he'll come back at full strength. The guy has had some devastating injuries, but
Mhm.
my goodness, he couldn't look better. Right? The guy has made everyone who cares about watching film for these guys so happy because this is exactly who he was in college.
Yeah, and I think the defense will have to respect Godwin a lot more than Sterling Shepard, who was, kind of getting targets as, that guy that the defense really didn't respect last night.
Yeah.
Um, so I think more talent in that room only helps Ibuka get better looks. I will say, for people that are watching that game, keep an eye on that injury because he lost a lot of effectiveness after what was it like a rib injury? I saw him getting wrapped up, but you can tell he lost a step once he got banged up. So that's something I would check out. Some of our injury guys, uh, Dynasty Big Mac or Jeff Mueller, to try to get down to the bottom of that injury, because he definitely lost a little bit of effectiveness. I think it affected him on that long pass towards the end of the game. So that is something to look out for, in this week. So hopefully he's able to bounce back quickly and it's not more of a decoy, in the coming weeks.
And that is we're our wrap up of the wide receivers, and we went through week 2. Hey, you might have won some, you might have lost some, but there's always another week to come back. If you're 0-2, you might want to start trying to pivot, try to get some draft picks. Well, if you start 0-3, you're definitely probably going to a rebuild. If you start 0-4, buddy, throw it out. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us, I will say, when I'm looking at some of my paid leagues, I'm 1-1. Week 1 went kind of shitty. Week 2 was better for me. Some of the star guys bounced back. Some of the would you trade from Smitty? Would you trade Quentin Johnson for Henderson? Would you trade Trevion? I mean, yeah, yeah, I would. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's easy.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Uh, but that has been our wrap up for today's episode. Addy, let the viewers know where they can catch you, big dog.
Yeah. You can find me on all the social medias at Duck League Champ. Also, obviously, download our app on the App Store and Google Play. We're League Champ with the little duck logo. We're giving away a free jersey every single week. We would love to see your rankings on there. We've been running analytics. We have been absolutely keeping up with the big dogs, within about one standard deviation at
Hmm.
every single position group, which is super cool to see. I really just want to make a platform where people can make their way to doing this, because when I was starting to try and get into fantasy analysis, dude, it's just so hard. There are so many people in the space, and if I can give people a place to get that notoriety, that is all I'm trying to do with the app. So, would love to see you guys on there, and thank you for having me. This has been so fun.
Yeah, we gotta get you back on here again. We have some more questions just flowing in. We'll take some
Yeah,
last minute from the Smitty.
get these last
He,
ones.
he did say that it's the other way around, so he would be sending Trevion Henderson for QJ. Hell no, don't do it, don't do it, brother. Yes,
Hendo
QJ.
is the
Drop that pass.
Hendo.
Yeah, drop
Get
that
get
pass
get Hendo.
faster than DJ drops the ball, man. Come on.
Yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. You're gonna be upset. Short term, it might sound sexy. Long term, you're gonna be upset when Trevion Henderson is taking that joint 80 yards down the field. It's gonna happen. And then we have, should I trade away Josh Jacobs for Nico and Juckins?
Do
Yes.
that. Do that. Yeah.
Do it
Do
right
that.
now. Smash that.
Quick
Do it.
yes.
Like
Do
through the
it.
table, actually.
Jump
I'm
jump jump in the Discord. We'll have that attached to this video, and and we're very responsive there. So if you ask these questions in the Discord, you have basically 24-hour access to us. It's kind of creepy, but get in there and we'll help you out. We'll help you win some fucking money, except if you're playing me. Then otherwise, get the hell out of my get the hell out
yeah,
of my chat.
for sure. But this has been another episode of Fourth and Fantasy. We've been joined by the great Addy. Thank you for joining us, my guy. We gotta get you back on. You're definitely a ball knower, and I always like talking with some analytical guys. Appreciate you as being on the pod. You know what, Fourth and Fantasy. I'm Hancho, and this is my guy,
Siriaco, call me Rocco.
and we are home of sickos. The good ones, though, not the bad ones, not the weird ones that outside in your bushes watching you doing some weird stuff. Okay, we're the good sickos. You hear me? And this show has been brought to you by Fast Draft, the fastest best ball platform out there. Get your ass on the app, man. Get your ass on Addy's app. We all gonna be on this app. Support my guy, and like I said, get more into analytics. This has been Fourth and Fantasy. Um, And I was gonna say I'm Huncho, but hope y'all have a wonderful night wherever you are, how you view us, and take care. Till next time.